I died in the year I loved him most. Hundreds of millions in assets. And he abandoned it all without hesitation. He perished in the flames with me. When I opened my eyes again, I'd returned to 10 years ago. The time when we just married. When I detested him most. I rushed to his corporate office. Seeing Sean for the first time. My voice cracked. Sean. I'm sorry. After a brief pause. His expression turned desolate. Go on. How will you torment me this time? During that final explosion, I remember Sean never emerged. The man who always prized cleanliness knelt beside me in the inferno, murmuring, Sandy, don't be afraid. I'm here with you. He was 38. A billionaire who cast aside everything to die with me in the flames. The midsummer dusk bled crimson through the windows. Stifling air drifted indoors as I awoke from the dream. Sitting dazed on the bed. The wall clock ticked relentlessly. A desk calendar lay undisturbed. Aunt Louis. Mr. Wilson just called. He won't be returning tonight. The housekeeper's voice carried serene certainty from the living room. I stared at the new wedding band on my finger. Closing my eyes. 10 years rewound. The consuming fire in his protective embrace felt more real than the sunlit reality. Even in our final moments. Sean kept whispering, don't fear. Sandy. I waited too long this lifetime. Next time. Come find me sooner. Was this dream or reality? I pinched my thigh. The dull pain confirming consciousness. Car horns outside sharpened my fragmented thoughts. A manufactured misunderstanding had fueled my hatred for Sean over years. His rivals exploited this weakness, suffocating him professionally. At home, my icy indifference made our estate a mausoleum. Orphaned young with no kin, Sean ruled his commercial empire alone until midlife. When truth finally surfaced, we'd stolen half a year of happiness, even conceiving a child. But death claimed me before revealing the pregnancy. Madam, the flowers arrived. Shall we depart? Aunt Louis inquired. What? My mind still churned. The bouquet for Mr. Thompson's birthday? Weren't you visiting Ryan at the hospital? Hearing Ryan's name jolted me. The tangled threads of memory snapped into focus. This was the day. Ryan Thompson, my childhood sweetheart and gifted actor, now resided permanently in burn units after an accident. In my previous life, I'd left his birthday gathering to find Sean waiting in his car. Cigarette ash trailing forgotten from his fingers. Back then, I'd offered no explanation. Couldn't bear to meet his gaze. Sandy. Sean spotted me, stubbed out his cigarette, and stepped out of the car with a desolate tone. Today's my birthday. I halted, turning to stare coldly at him. So? Sean's obsidian eyes held mine silently. Today's also Ryan's birthday. I said through clenched teeth. You destroyed his career, scarred his face, pulled every dirty trick to marry me. What exactly do you want from me? He parted his lips helplessly. That was an accident. If you hadn't invited him that day, you expect me to believe that? My voice cracked. He's still hospitalized because of you. Sean lowered his gaze. I'm sorry. Our relationship plummeted into glacial silence after that conversation. Weeks stretched into months of suffocating estrangement. Much later, I discovered that even this accident Sean believed in had been orchestrated to drive us apart. Aunt Louis already loaded your things. Miss. We'll hit rush hour soon. The housekeeper's reminder startled me. Dusk painted the sky in bruised purples as I scrambled into the town car. Sudden realization tightening my throat. This was 10 years ago. Everything could still be fixed. The driver merged into sluggish traffic. The hospital routes jammed. Should I call Mr. Thompson? Change of plans. My knuckles whitened against the leather seat. Take me to Wilson Enterprises. Truthfully, I'd never visited Sean's workplace. In our early years, Resentment kept me away. Later, when I finally cared, his enemy's threats made visits too dangerous. Now standing amidst mirrored skyscrapers, I felt utterly lost clutching my oversized peony bouquet. Pedestrians eyed my tear-smudged eyeliner and trembling lipstick, some tragic rom-com heroine gone rogue. My shaking fingers found his contact, Sean Wilson, in stark letters. No pet names. Not even emergency contact status. The line connected startlingly fast. Business hours. His boardroom voice could frost glass. Sean. My composure shattered. Where's your office? I can't, sobs erupted embarrassingly loud. Passers-by gawked at the mascara-streaked woman wailing on the curb. A rustle of papers. Meeting adjourned. His tone shifted infinitesimally softer. Stay on the sidewalk. I'm coming down. Minutes later, he emerged like Armani-clad divinity under neon signs. Every strand of chestnut hair perfection. My reflection in his office tower showed raccoon eyes and streaked foundation full horror movie chic. His polished Oxford stopped before me. Purpose of visit? Arctic formality. I turned. Sean's sculpted features froze mid-assessment. Pupils dilating at my disaster face. Even now, he radiated untouchable elegance, some pristine alpine flower blooming beyond moral reach. Sorry for, I stared at his silver tie clip. Interrupting your. His throat moved. Today, the sentence died unfinished. I knew what he wanted to say. Today I should have been celebrating Ryan's birthday with him instead of showing up here. That thought suddenly hit me. I shoved the flowers into his arms and mumbled, "Happy birthday." A heavy silence fell. I stole a glance at him and noticed he was staring at the bouquet without any trace of joy. After what felt like eternity, he cracked a bitter smile. Sandy. These were his cast-offs. Weren't they? What? I sensed his mood shifting and followed his gaze to the flowers. My stomach dropped. Shit. Icy blue roses. They symbolized gifting someone the stars and ocean, exactly what Ryan loved most. My memories had been too jumbled after waking up. My sole focus fixed on finding Sean. I'd overlooked every detail. I'm sorry. Thank you for the birthday gift. Sean's tone turned glacial. It's late. I'll have the driver take you home. He turned to leave. I lunged forward and grabbed his jacket hem. Wait! Sean hadn't anticipated my move. The sudden tug made me stumble, slamming face first into his tailored suit back. His pristine jacket now sported a rainbow of makeup smudges. He turned slowly, eyes locking onto my guilty fingers. I'm not going back, I declared stubbornly. His expression hollowed. Sandy, what fresh torment have you planned this time? That question stung. In my memories, we'd recently married at 23 and 28 respectively. Our fights had been brutally one-sided, me hurling every cruel remark imaginable, even weaponizing holiday gifts to twist the knife. Like the boy who cried wolf, I'd destroyed all trust. Last time, after unraveling our misunderstandings, I'd taken the direct approach by pinning him down. The man radiated icy elegance yet melted surprisingly easily. But that tactic wouldn't work now. Sean had endured too much pain, and I wanted to make amends properly. How about dinner? I offered. No. He stared through me. I have work. Take out then. I trailed him doggedly. We'll get longevity noodles. Sean strode wordlessly ahead, still clutching the rejected bouquet. I expected him to trash it when we passed the office bins. But he didn't. His deserted workspace held a cold lunchbox on the desk, untouched. My chest tightened. Had this been his birthday dinner plan? I secretly ordered clear broth longevity noodles, light salt. No scallions, with tomato braised beef and mild sides. Sean had always accommodated my spicy cravings, only for me to later discover his sensitive stomach couldn't handle it. The food arrived. We sat in suffocating silence. The wilted roses between us. The atmosphere felt off no matter what I said. Sean was unwrapping the bouquet, preparing to arrange the flowers in a vase. The frost blue roses stung my eyes. Without thinking, I strode over, snatched them from his hands, and threw them into the trash. He froze, staring at the bead of blood welling from his thumb before murmuring wearily, "Sandy, are you done with this tantrum?" Not even close. I bit back the lump in my throat, furious at his infuriating passivity. "Fine. I'll get you different flowers." Sean pulled a tissue to dab his wound, lashes casting shadows over eyes dull with resignation. Never mind. Ignoring him, I grabbed the trash bag and snapped, "Stay put," before rushing out. Summer twilight bathed sidewalk flower vendors, their blooms humbler than boutique florists' extravagant arrangements. I combed every stall, buying every crimson rose before bundling them haphazardly with takeout bags. The 19th floor lobby felt colder upon return, vacant except for the lone office glowing amber. He stood silhouetted against floor-to-ceiling windows, posture radiating the desolation of a stray dog. The door thudded as I staggered under my burdens. Sean whirled, shock flashing across his face before he swiftly relieved me, steering us to the sofa with an arm bracing my waist. "These," I grinned through sweat-damp hair, thrusting the roses at him, "bought out the whole street for you." His striking features blanked. Damn, he still couldn't process kindness. Was hostility the only language he understood? When he reached for his congealed lunch, I groaned dramatically. His gaze snapped to me, tension bleeding through before he masked it. "Must you eat that slop?" I flopped onto the couch, jerking my chin at the steaming containers. "Watching you munch cold rice pisses me off." For 30 minutes, the office echoed with my heckling. "That beef chunk's right there. Eat your greens. Are you 5? Slurp properly." I didn't buy noodles for decoration. Through relentless nagging, I badgered him into finishing the soup. 2 extra rolls. And even my osmanthus cake. "Gonna die of thirst at this rate," I croaked. A water glass materialized before me. Sean's mouth quirked faintly. "Hydrate before round 2. The ice in his eyes had thawed. Those shadows still lingered. I ached to hug him. Instead, I said, "Let's make this work, Sean." He busied himself clearing dishes, avoiding my gaze. "I'll have the driver take you home." But I just got here. The door clicked shut behind his retreating back. After all, there's no need for a big CEO like Sean to collect the trash. It's impossible to say I'm not disappointed. After being reborn, how come this man seems even more difficult to coax? I'm sitting on the sofa, formulating my next strategy. Should I just pounce on him directly? Or pour out my feelings first and then pounce? A sudden ringtone interrupts my train of thought. I absent-mindedly answer the phone. On the other end of the line, there's a long-lost but familiar voice. "Sandy, where are you?" My originally excited mood suddenly plummets to the bottom. I remember there's such a person. "Oh, it's you." My tone isn't particularly enthusiastic. Ryan's voice is gentle. "I've been waiting for you for a long time. Didn't we agree to celebrate my birthday together?" Remembering everything that happened in my past life, I tighten my fingers little by little until my knuckles turn white. "Ryan, we're friends who grew up together, right?" Ryan senses something's wrong with me and corrects me. "Sandy, we're family." Family. I repeat the 2 words and suddenly ask, "Don't you have anything to tell me?" He pauses, sighs, and says, "Sorry. I shouldn't have secretly eaten the cake without telling you." See, why can the person being cared for lie, make demands, and crack jokes recklessly, while Sean has to always stand behind and bear everything? I'm so cold all over that I can't even force a smile. "I have something to do today, so I won't come. Happy birthday to you." After hanging up the phone, I take a deep breath, feeling stuffy in my heart, remembering the call Ryan made to me before I was kidnapped, asking where I was. I fall into deep thought. He's the person I trusted the most. But what if, from the very beginning, that explosion was an inside job? When I look up, I see Sean standing at the door, his profile hidden in the shadows, and I can't see his expression clearly. After hesitating for a long time, I ask, "Did you hear everything?" "Yeah. Let's go." His tone is calm after extreme suppression. The car is downstairs. I open my mouth, not knowing how to explain what will happen in the future. I'm afraid he'll think I'm crazy. I follow him out of the door, with a surge of guilt. Sean. He just slows down a bit but doesn't turn back. "It was Ryan who called me just now," I say very quickly. I did promise to help him celebrate his birthday yesterday. But today's me is different. I'm from the future. Sean suddenly stops, turns around, with a layer of ice in his eyes. Enough. He closes his eyes, suppresses his emotions, and says, "Today's meal was delicious, and I'm really glad you could accompany me on my birthday." I stare at him intently and see the pain hidden deep in his eyes. Sean's lips are very pale. Every word comes out like it's from a person in extreme pain, trembling as he speaks. "So, in the end, you're going to see Ryan." I accept it, because this is the price. In my past life, Sean once told me that every bit of kindness I showed him back then had to be repaid with even more pain. So he never dared to expect anything and was prepared for me to leave at any time. These words now feel like a knife stabbing into my heart, causing excruciating pain. On this day in my past life, when I wasn't around, his dinner was just a cold boxed meal. No one said happy birthday to him. So that's why he went to the hospital entrance to wait for me, right? All Sean wanted was for me to say happy birthday to him. But I told him not to meddle and stay as far away from me as possible. The long overdue truth weighs so heavily on me that I can hardly breathe. He averts his gaze. "Sorry. I broke my promise. It's not safe when it's dark. If you're going to the hospital, go quickly." I grabbed Sean's hand forcefully, intertwining our fingers with deliberate boldness. His entire body stiffened, yet he didn't pull away. "Sandra," he rasped, voice gravelly with tension. "What are you doing? Haven't you humiliated me enough?" Rising on tiptoes, I yanked his tie to bring his face level with mine. "Don't move, honey." Those 4 words cast a spell, freezing him in place. My lips found his chilled ones, our chaotic dance of breath mingling with the crisp cedar scent of his cologne. Pushing him against the wall, I wound my arms around his neck, soothing him through tentative kisses. His resistance melted from rigid shock to helpless surrender. Starched dress shirt crumpling under my grasp as his hand slid from my waist to my back, crushing our bodies together. The overhead lights flickered before plunging us into darkness. We broke apart breathlessly, foreheads pressed together. "Sandy," Sean's throat worked painfully. "Don't do this." "Don't like it?" I whispered. His silence stretched before he ground out. "Don't tempt me. Go to him while I still have control." Feigning innocence, I breathed against his ear. "You'd really let me kiss someone else? Not jealous at all?" The provocation worked. Sean claimed my mouth with furious possession, sweeping me into his arms before dumping me onto the office couch. His hand cradled my skull as he kissed me with years of pent-up desperation. All pretense of restraint abandoned. I smirked against his lips. Couldn't resist forever. But my triumph faltered as Sean suddenly lifted me. "Sean!" I squirmed in alarm. "I meant we should wait till you had your chance." His warm breath ghosted over my neck as he flipped me onto my stomach. "Now you're mine, Sandra." The lethal purr in his voice sparked equal parts thrill and terror. "You're dead meat. Later." When I tried kicking him away in petulant exhaustion, Sean dragged me back. Don't want me? His grip tightened. Then who? No answer satisfied him that night. By dawn, even the moon retreated behind clouds, leaving only whispered promises against rumpled silk. He asked with utter seriousness. My face burned. I don't want you anyway. He ducked his head. Your opinion doesn't count. That night's dreams held both Sean's relentless pursuit and raging flames. I lay in a pool of blood, explosives strapped to my body. Sean charged through the inferno, lifting me with trembling arms. Seeing his tears, I weakly pushed at him. Get lost, Sean. I said get lost, don't touch me. Please. The dream shattered with phantom sobs. Warmth evaporated, plunged back into darkness. I jerked awake to wet cheeks. A nightmare. Regaining awareness, I found Sean teetering on the mattress edge. My sleep-talking must have shown in his expression. He handed tissues but kept distance, fingertips avoiding contact. My stomach dropped. The misunderstanding remained. Sean. My voice cracked. I was dreaming. In the fire, explosives, you tried dying with me. That's why I shouted. Don't misinterpret it. His eyes briefly ignited before dimming into resignation. Fine. I believe you. Tucking my blanket, he grabbed his pillow. Sean. I hurled my pillow at his retreating back. Go then. Leave me aching everywhere. You heartless bastard. Let me rot here. Curling into the blankets. I ignored his pause. Stubborn brat. 26-year-old Sean's obstinacy lacked all charm. The mattress dipped. His sigh warmed my neck. Sleep. Hold me. He obediently gathered me against his chest. Night stretched endlessly, my insomnia churning with revelations since Rebirth. The kidnapper, a bankrupt CEO connected to Sean. The accident involving Ryan? My uncle's scheme to divide us. Truths learned during my final year. Sean had guarded my whereabouts meticulously. Yet I'd been snatched en route to a prenatal checkup. Only one person knew my schedule that day, Ryan. Even in death. Sean's last words haunted, thank Ryan. Without him, I'd never have found you. Now clarity pierced the fog. What role had Ryan, my childhood companion of 15 years, truly played? Morning brought a splitting headache. Sean. I can't get up. You're unbearable. He endured my kicks. Breakfast. No. Stubborn. You're worse. I glowered. I hate this younger version of you. He paused for a moment before asking good-naturedly. The younger version of me? Exactly. I snapped, yanking the blanket from his grasp and cocooning myself in it. I prefer you 10 years older. Go age somewhere else and let me sleep. Wriggling into the warmest spot, I stretched luxuriously, my senses filled with Sean's lingering scent. My second round of sleep lasted until afternoon. True to his foresight about my inevitable hunger, lunch sat neatly arranged on the table. The immaculate office held military precision in every corner except for the war zone of our bed. Last night's mischief had shredded the sheets into ribbons that now lay tangled around Sean's sleeping form earlier. Honestly, the 28-year-old Sean was downright innocent compared to his 38-year-old self. Shaking off blush-inducing memories, I washed up, devoured breakfast, then shrugged into Sean's dress shirt before peeking into the main office. Golden hour light cascaded through floor-to-ceiling windows, softening the crisp lines of Sean's tailored suit as he presided over a video conference. That damned sunset glow always made him look approachable despite his icy boardroom demeanor. My pulse quickened as his sharp gaze snapped toward the door instantly. His composed facade faltered upon seeing me drowning in his shirt. Clearing my throat, I sauntered to his desk under the pretense of checking messages. 5 missed calls and a dozen texts from Ryan lit up my screen, all time-stamped during hours I'd been otherwise occupied. Did my phone ring last night? I asked casually. swinging my bare leg within his peripheral vision. Sean's voice hitched mid-sentence during the conference call before he abruptly adjourned the meeting. Sandra. He began sternly, though the flush creeping up his neck betrayed him. I tugged his tie until our lips nearly brushed. Office hours. He reminded hoarsely. MHM. I grazed his mouth. Want more? After a weighted pause came his gravelly confession, yes. Your loss. I kissed him again before retreating. I'll wait next door. Take me home tonight. Back in the lounge. Ryan's call came through. Sandy. His sleep-deprived voice rasped. I left the hospital. If the treatment won't fix me, I want whatever time I have left with you. I frowned at the window reflecting Manhattan's skyline. We're done. Ryan. I'm married now. Then what about me? Ryan asked. What did you take our promise for? Is it because my face is ruined that you don't like me anymore? I hesitated. It was you who said we had to break up for the company to promote you and help you climb higher. But you promised to wait for me. How long was I supposed to wait? I sighed. You had countless chances. Yet kept making me wait. My Uncle Sam is the type who'll stop at nothing to achieve his goals. After I was born, my parents dumped me at the Miller family and moved overseas to start new families. I'm just a pawn in the Miller's game. While Ryan was winning accolades on the big screen, I'd already been backed into a corner by Sam. That night, I called him repeatedly until dawn. He kept hanging up. The next day, watching his first on-screen kiss, I accepted Sam's proposal with a broken heart. Now Ryan asked over the phone, have you fallen for him? I didn't hesitate. I love him. 4 days after. Ryan never messaged again. I realized that to catch whoever killed me in my past life, I needed Sean's help. First step, make him believe I'm reborn. Before he has me committed to a psych ward. So this heiress gets reborn and starts investigating who destroyed her family. The information gap works in her favor. Don't you wonder how she turns the tables later? Elbows propped on Sean's desk. I animatedly narrated my third reincarnation novel this month. Sean listened intently. If you like it, I can fund a TV adaptation. It's not about me, do you like it? He glanced at his wrinkled dress shirt I'd been wearing inside. I like whatever you like. I pounced. Fist mimicking a microphone. Then give me your review. Sean, lately, we'd been getting along better. He indulged my every whim. Yet something still felt detached. Sean. I dragged my chair closer. Deadly serious. It's time you knew. He set down his chopsticks. All attention. Go on. I took a dramatic breath. I'm also reborn. Silence. Prolonged silence. His eyebrow twitched. Lips pressed tight. He was holding back laughter. Aha. You don't believe me. Continue. Sandy. The corner of his mouth quivered before flattening. I believe you. I spilled everything, my past life. The conspiracy. At first he listened like to a child's fairy tale, thinking it's some new scheme. Then his brows knitted. He recognized the truth. The stabber's last name was Fong. Probably your ex-employee who later started his own firm. It's 10 years early now, so I don't know his whereabouts. My Uncle Sam's involved too. Lastly, watch out for Ree, the shrill ringtone cut me off. We both saw the caller ID AN. I'd forgotten to update Ryan's contact name. Sean's expression frosted over. He stood with his plate. I'll do the dishes. There it was again, that deliberate withdrawal. He was still afraid. I gritted my teeth, grabbed my phone, and followed him to the kitchen. He stood with his back to the doorway, turning on the faucet. I hit speakerphone. Ryan's familiar voice came through. Sandy, maybe this is the last time I'll call you. Beneath his words roared howling wind. My throat tightened. Where are you? The rooftop of our high school. His voice softened. Sandy. Remember? The day my parents left. You said the Miller family never truly cared for me either. That we could be each other's family. When I was 18, I almost jumped from here. You stopped me then. The wind swallowed his sigh. Now that you're gone, I don't see the point anymore. Ryan. Don't. My vision blurred as I snatched a jacket. Wait there. I'm coming. Hanging up. I turned to find Sean still facing the sink. Water rushed endlessly into his motionless hands. Are you crazy? I yanked his arm. Change clothes. Now. He stumbled. Dark eyes unreadable. Change? Shouldn't I stay? We're married now. Sean. I jabbed my phone screen. 10 seconds to take off that apron or I'm calling 911 myself. Students could witness this. When I looked up, Sean stood by the door in crisp attire. How? I blinked. Let's go. His driving spared us waiting for chauffeurs. Police had already cordoned off the campus, evacuating students from night study sessions. Officers pulled me past the barricades while Sean waited outside the caution tape, giving me a firm nod. The rooftop wind clung hot and heavy. Ryan perched on the ledge. Ruined profile turned toward empty air. Sandy. He didn't turn. You came. My chest ached. In our previous life, after reconciling with Sean, we'd tried visiting Ryan. He'd slammed doors in our faces. How does one stop hating when the target vanishes? Later, when Sean faced corporate sieges, I'd stopped leaving our home. Over 2 lifetimes. I realized I hadn't seen Ryan in 18 months. Come down, Ryan. He finally looked at me, then beyond to where Sean stood vigil. You were right. I got greedy. His burnt cheek glistened. You warned me before the wedding, said we'd only ever be family. Should've listened. Memories surged, 15-year-old Ryan shielding me from bullies' fists. 20-year-old Ryan sprinting through rainstorms when Sam threw me out. For half a heartbeat, I wavered. Was he truly the one who caused my death? Ryan smiled faintly. You promised to celebrate every birthday with me. Sing me happy birthday and I'll come down. All right. I'll sing. As the wind stilled, the birthday melody drifted across the moonlit rooftop. Yet while singing, I found myself thinking, I never sang this for Sean that day. I should make it up to him later. When the song ended, Ryan stood facing me. Thank you. It's been years since I last heard you sing. Beautiful as ever. His voice turned featherlight. May I ask one more question? Ask. Do you still love me? I remained silent until finally murmuring. Your family. From the moment you stood on that stage. Ryan's dark gaze swept across the crowd, locking with Sean's. The rooftop wind bit through me. Let's go back. Please? He turned, smiling tenderly. Sandy. I love you. Then he spread his arms and fell backward into the endless night. Time froze. My blood turned to ice before primal terror surged. I lunged for the edge. Ryan! Empty air. The pavement yawned like a beast's maw, swallowing him whole. I stared at the darkness, mind blank. A dull thud echoed. My legs buckled. Ryan, dead? Had I wronged him? People sense things. After all these years, he'd noticed my distance. Chosen this. Did that mean I'd killed him? Shivering uncontrollably, I sat numb until warmth enveloped me. Sean's familiar scent anchored me as I clutched his sleeve. I killed him, I'm here. You're safe. I didn't know, didn't realize, sobs racked me. I'm sorry, his fingers carted through my hair. He's alive. The police had airbags. His lips brushed my ear. Minor scrapes. At the hospital now. If you want to. No. My voice shredded. Stay with you. Always. In the car, I watched officers disperse through rain-speckled windows. Soon they'd escort us to the hospital. Ryan had no family left. Exhaustion pressed me against Sean's shoulder. Earlier, I whispered. I never finished. I thought Ryan was involved too. Sean drew a shaky breath. Sandy, what if he wasn't? If he's innocent, would you choose him or me? Only then did relief flood me. All along, Sean had assumed he was the one never chosen. But 10 years later, Sandy would always firmly choose Sean. I looked up, staring intently at Sean. Do you remember when Ryan first debuted? Yeah. We didn't know each other then. I'd already broken up with Ryan by that time. If I had to describe my feelings for Ryan, it's complicated. We survived those chaotic teenage years together, then stepped into this brutal society. Compared to all that, there was barely any romance left. Counting on my fingers. I explained to Sean. He debuted, acted, grew more famous. By the time you and I got married, we'd already been broken up for over a year. I admit I hated you at first. The same way I hated Uncle Sam, people barging into my life uninvited. Then Ryan got into that car accident on his way to meet investors. With your driver behind the wheel. I lumped you in with my uncle as another ruthless schemer. My dislike wasn't about loving Ryan. I didn't love him. I just couldn't stand people who'd destroy others' futures over minor disagreements. Sean gently intertwined his fingers with mine. I'm sorry. That was my fault. I didn't handle things properly. No. I clutched his arm. I told you that was Uncle Sam's doing. You did nothing wrong. Anyone who dares criticize you, I'll tear them apart. After a pause, he murmured, Thank you. For what? It's the first time someone's taken my side. Really stood up for me. His words made my chest tighten. Few in the industry ever mentioned Sean's family background. The man truly had no one in his corner. Sean gazed at me earnestly. Could you tell me when you started liking me? The night was dark. Yet I could clearly see the fragile hope in his eyes. Once you came home drunk and tripped over the scarf I was knitting for the puppy. You sat cross-legged on the floor at 2 a.m., trying to figure out how to knit it a sweater. When I told you to sleep, you said the puppy would get cold in winter. That's when I thought someone who worries about a puppy being cold maybe isn't so heartless after all. There was more I didn't share. That night, Sean had mumbled in his sleep, Sandy, I'm cold too. I'd overheard when getting water. My heart softened then, thinking how pitiful he was, this lonely man nobody loved. Sean listened raptly. We get a dog? 7 years from now. You gave me one for my birthday. Said it could keep me company since you worked so much. Grinning, I counted on my fingers. By that logic, our smart little pup should be an old dog somewhere now. That dog learned tricks faster than, well, I sometimes wondered if it didn't drink from the river Lethe. My voice trailed off abruptly. Sean frowned. What's wrong? I gripped his hand tightly. Ryan, he's like me. How? On the rooftop. My brows furrowed deeper. When Ryan jumped, he said he hadn't heard me sing happy birthday in years, but I celebrated his birthday last year. Sean's eyes narrowed in realization. You mean in your previous life? There were years when... Yes. The blood roared in my ears. If Ryan had waited years for that birthday song, this could only mean one thing. Our locked gazes mirrored the same dreadful suspicion. To the hospital. 30 minutes later, doctors told us someone had already taken Ryan. Further inquiries were blocked due to patient confidentiality. The situation reeked of conspiracy. During the drive back, one question haunted me. Do you think he jumped on purpose? As Sean gripped the steering wheel, his fingertips lightly tapping against the leather cover, he remarked, Generally, police deploy inflatable cushions for lower building jumps. If it were me, I'd have absolute confidence in surviving such a fall. I studied his profile thoughtfully. Then what do you think his mentality would be? He snorted softly. Just manipulating your sympathy to gain favor. This marked the first time in 2 lifetimes Sean had ever uttered such a biting remark to me. Pressing my lips together, I nodded solemnly. You seem quite knowledgeable about this. Men understand men best. He replied stiffly. Choosing not to challenge him, I gazed at the blurring scenery outside. Telling Sean a decade early whom to guard against might prevent worse outcomes. Memories of him charging through flames to embrace me in our previous life resurfaced. Twisting my heart. How could anyone remain unmoved? Kindness never goes unnoticed. We arrived home late after hours on the road. Aunt Louis had already left. The dark living room barely revealed Sean reaching for the light switch when I suddenly pounced, knocking him onto the sofa. His long legs splayed awkwardly as he steadied my weight against him. Sean, I whispered into his ear, feeling his breath hitch. I love you. His throat worked visibly while securing my waist. Get down. The command emerged hoarse, almost desperate. Blinking in surprise, I teased. You mean, don't. His palm covered my eyes. And don't look. Darkness enveloped me, eyelashes brushing his heated skin. Who knew those 3 words could unravel him so completely? Grinning mischievously, I repeated, I love you, each featherlight taunt kindled invisible flames between us. Through his shirt, I felt his heartbeat accelerate beneath my palm. Softening my tone, I murmured, Sean, I love you. His lips silenced mine with unprecedented urgency, cornering me against the cushions. His hands traced my jawline and throat like priceless artifacts. Movements reverent yet feverish. You never listen, he sighed against my skin. Aren't you hungry? Starving, koala-like. I clung tighter, fingers sneaking under his shirt. Let's eat, when he remained unmoved. I blurted. Hey, have you thought about our baby's nickname? His gaze darkened instantly, bypassing the dining table's roasted chicken legs entirely. He carried me toward the bedroom. Wait! I craned toward the neglected feast. Aunt Louis left. Too late. For the first time, Sean denied me ruthlessly. You had your chance. My rules now. The man clearly possessed negotiation skills worthy of Wall Street. His murmurs enveloped me like tidal waves as scattered kisses traveled from my fingertips to where our heartbeats merged. I'm yours. Intoxicated, I flipped us over triumphantly. Mine. All mine. Later, after showering, my eyelids grew heavy. A pair of hands took advantage of hugging him to wander everywhere, thoroughly enjoying themselves. He resembled a docile golden retriever, seemingly never capable of anger. Sandy. My voice slurred with exhaustion. When we first married, you promised to watch a movie with me. The next day you canceled due to stomach pains and went to the hospital. Were you meeting him? It felt like ancient history. I vaguely recalled it had nothing to do with Ryan. Sean had sent me petit fours the previous day, and after devouring them with spicy chicken feet, I'd developed gastroenteritis. I'd gotten 4 fluids, picked up medications, and gone straight to bed. But something in Sean's tone felt off. My drowsiness vanished instantly. I sat upright. After a brief moment of stunned silence, Sean murmured, I'm sorry. Don't apologize yet. I'm not angry. I crossed my legs, genuinely curious. Why would you think I went to see Ryan? Couldn't you easily verify my hospital records? He hadn't checked. After waited silence, Sean confessed. I can see Ryan's social media, but he never posts. Our eyes met. Mutual bewilderment reflected. Sean handed me his phone. My fingers trembled clicking Ryan's profile. The feed made my blood roar. August 9th, Sandy promised to celebrate my birthday. Grateful for my love. August 1st, tasted Sandy's home-cooked meal. Just like old times. Scrolling frantically, I found the damning post from 6 months ago, movies released. Waiting for Sandy. The exact day of my gastroenteritis. Yet my own phone showed Ryan's barren profile. These posts were visible only to Sean. Since marrying, I'd only interacted with Ryan during hospital payment disputes or treatment adjustments. I'd considered him an old friend. Yet he'd repeatedly harmed my family behind the scenes. These don't even have my photos. I seethed. Headache pulsing. Sean stared at my blank social feed. Fragile hope kindling in his eyes. Sandy, I had to believe it. His thumb brushed the screen compulsively. If I investigated and found you two at that theater, I'd rather live in uncertainty. Frustration and heartache warred within me. You could have just asked, the words died. Of course he hadn't. Back then, I'd hurled cruelty at every opportunity. Any answer would have cut deeper than his imagination. I'm sorry. I buried my face in his chest. Tears prickling. I'll never take my anger out on you again. His laughter rumbled against me. Lips grazing my ear. Don't. I love your fiery side, it's adorable. Just, never say you'll leave me. That night dissolved our final barrier. I'm beginning to suspect Sean thrives on chaos. The man gets restless without daily mischief. On the morning of the solar term marking autumn's arrival, I lost my temper again. Sean, are you trying to work yourself to death so I can present you with an Employee of the Month award? His gravelly voice over the phone carried a slight nasal quality as he chuckled. I'm holding up. He'd spiked a fever after midnight. His skin burning to the touch. I'd called the family doctor for antipyretics. Coaxed him into taking the medication. And spent hours cooling him with damp cloths until dawn broke and his temperature normalized. After leaving Aunt Louis instructions for a bland congee, I'd collapsed into his arms. Yet here I was at 10 a.m., waking to an empty bed, haunted by past life memories. I hurried through breakfast before rushing to his office with the thermos of porridge. The secretary tensed upon seeing me. Mr. Wilson is in a meeting. I'll wait. I settled on the lobby sofa, scrolling through my phone until Sean's voice sliced through the quiet colder and sharper than I'd ever heard. I gave you opportunities. You squandered them. But you set me up. A man protested. Sean's laugh held no warmth. And? This isn't fair. Fairness? The clink of a glass being set down. I trade in profits. Not justice. I leaned forward, fascinated, while the secretary fidgeted. The door burst open, revealing a red-faced middle-aged executive. Our eyes met briefly during his stormy exit, freezing my blood. Mr. Fong, the man who'd stabbed me in our previous life. Had Sean moved the timeline up by a decade? Typical overachiever. Mrs. Wilson! The secretary nearly shouted. Your wife is here. I entered to find no corporate titan. Just a man in a crisp white shirt smiling by the window. I was coming home for lunch. Thunking the thermos on his desk. I sat across from him. That earlier conversation. Did I scare you? His voice softened. I'll mind my tone next time. No. That man, I twisted my hands. He's the one I told you about. From my premonition. Sean's eyes frosted over. Leave it to me. He methodically ate the still warm congee. Table manners impeccable even in crisis. When I kept staring, he paused. Hungry? No. Heat crept up my neck. Could you talk to me like you did earlier? His spoon hovered. Pardon? Please? I hid behind my hands. It's weirdly attractive. Sean blinked. The memory of another night surfaced, me drunkenly begging him to look at me like I'm trash. My ears burned hotter. Some phrases should really stay unspoken. As Sean Wilson swallowed his food, he suddenly chuckled. I kicked him shyly. Stop laughing at me. Forget what I said, I could never. He locked eyes with me. You know I can't refuse you anything. That afternoon, his entire office witnessed me bolting out with cheeks redder than persimmons. After lifetimes of entanglement, we're finally experiencing that giddy new relationship phase these days. I've commandeered Sean's social media accounts posting my disastrous kitchen experiments, blurry couple selfies taken on whims, and cringeworthy captions that'd make middle schoolers groan. Sean tactfully mentioned, "I do have some professional contacts here," implying the embarrassment factor. But seeing how much fun I had, he's embraced the good-natured teasing from colleagues. Every post now gathers familiar comments: "The eternal bachelor's finally fallen, flexing the wife again, blink twice if you need rescue." Man, autumn deepened before we knew it. Ryan Thompson seemed to have vanished from my life, disconnected number. Zero traces. Sometimes I'd watch high schoolers walking home and remember our past. Yet instinct whispered this wasn't the peaceful closure it appeared. Sean grew increasingly busy, leaving before dawn, returning past midnight, waiting alone in our quiet home. I'd recall our previous life's pattern, his endless obligations, our stolen moments. "Ma'am, it's 10. You should rest." I sat cross-legged amidst shopping bags, determined. I'll wait a bit longer. Truthfully, we hadn't properly seen each other all week. Tonight, I just wanted to feel his presence. With winter approaching, I raided boutiques for Sean's new wardrobe: plaid cashmere scarves, wool overcoats, matching fuzzy mittens that made us look like overgrown toddlers. While organizing his closet, a vibration came from his coat pocket. The unfamiliar phone showed an email notification. I snapped a photo, texting him teasingly, "Shawnee Bear, keeping secret devices now?" He replied instantly, "Accustomed to my antics, work phone I forgot. Mind checking it for me? Better not be love letters." I joked, opening the message. Medical records filled the screen. Squinting, I read aloud: "Chinghui Song, skull fracture. Cerebral hemorrhage, workplace accident? How tragic." Sean's response came unusually brisk: "Just put it back. Sweetheart. I'll bring dessert." Suddenly secretive after offering? I pouted, replacing the phone. In the kitchen, I rewrapped his gifts while reheating dinner. My best friend Yvonne Walker teased during our call, "From hating his guts to this? Who are you really? Sandy? My Sean's perfect. I was blind before." Sure. When are we launching that studio? Your designs could fund our retirements." Later. I deflected. "I'll keep emailing sketches. Keep clinging to your Prince Charming then." She laughed. I didn't deny it. If fate remains unchanged, our borrowed time dwindles daily. Sean arrived precisely at midnight. The living room glowed softly. Stew still warm, curled in shadows. I held my breath watching him enter. Sean Wilson called out softly, "Sandy." I stayed silent, crouching low to circle behind him before suddenly pouncing on his shoulders. "Meow." Sean sighed, adjusting his grip to keep me steady. "Hold tight." "How'd you know I wouldn't get scared?" "I saw your shadow." Disappointed, I nuzzled against his neck. "Take me to the bedroom. I've got your present." He obediently carried me inside, where a clumsily wrapped giant gift box dominated the room. "This is your belated birthday gift. I'm still mad they didn't let me make your longevity noodles this year." I slid down from his back, beaming. Every penny came from my design projects. "Open it." His fingers lingered on the ribbon. "Sandy, thank you." "Come on." His hands froze. "There's something we need to discuss." "Shoot." After prolonged hesitation, he murmured, "We might need some time apart." I blinked slowly, certain I'd misheard. When reality sank in, I enunciated each word: "You're divorcing me?" Pain flickered in his eyes. "Sandy, I'll go pack." "Wait." He caught my wrist. Let me explain. Tears welled up as I turned away. Just say it. I know I hurt you. You only married me for revenge anyway. I shouldn't have called you a kidnapper during our wedding. Stood you up at the movies for 2 hours. Or, my voice cracked. Smeared jam on your white shirts and bedsheets after learning you're a neat freak. I deserve this. Dead silence followed. Where exactly did you smear jam? Your shirts, and bedsheets. When? Early in our marriage. Payback for. Suddenly flipped over his knee. I yelped as a stinging slap landed on my backside. Ow. Domestic violence before divorce papers? Help. I barely touched you. Amusement tinged his voice. Still acting childish at 24? Success manuals say attack your opponent's weakness. I squirmed defiantly. You want cleanliness? I'll ruin every sheet before signing anything. Another smack echoed. Burning with humiliation. I choked out. Just end this properly. The proper ending you couldn't handle. He restrained my flailing limbs. Voice turning serious. We need to stage something. Stage what? Ryan Thompson's father died in a construction accident years ago. His grip tightened. That project involved your Uncle Samuel and my father. Memory surfaced of finding Ryan on the rooftop that day, his white shirt billowing like a surrender flag as he stared into the void. Ryan! What are you doing? I'd called. Ice pop dripping in my hand. He turned with shattered eyes. My family's gone. Shocked by his loss. I'd inched forward offering my treat. I've got no family either. How about me? Yvonne Walker's crew locked me in restrooms to beat me. I'd shown him old bruises. Uncle Sam just scolds me for causing trouble. Ryan looked down at the bruised arm I was showing him. Took the popsicle. And hopped off the edge of the steps. What's your uncle's name? Sam Miller. He slowly raised his eyes. Sam Miller? The Sam Miller from the Miller Group? At my nod. He studied my face with unprecedented seriousness. Don't worry. I'll treat you right from now on. Years later. Lost in memories. I'd suddenly understand the meaning behind that gaze. Perhaps in the moment before learning my uncle's identity, Ryan had genuinely wanted to consider me family. But my connection to the Millers became his entry point for vengeance. He spent years teaching me that family never betrays each other. That harm against family demands thousandfold retribution. Yet his original promise had been woven from lies all along. Sean said quietly, Sandy, anyone can see Ryan cares for you. If what you say about your previous life is true, that he contributed to your death after you chose me, I can't risk binding you to me again. You've barely interacted with the Millers. If you leave me now, I'll face whatever comes alone. I shook my head stubbornly. Not happening. Be reasonable. No. I gripped his hand tighter. I'm not signing those divorce papers. Did you know? In that other life. We even had a child. I never got to tell you. Sean froze. Really? Might even be pregnant now. He went rigid, staring at my abdomen like it might suddenly manifest an ultrasound image. Sean. I pressed. I'll play along with your charade. But no divorce. Weeks later, tabloids exploded with rumors about tech mogul Sean's impending divorce. Paparazzi shots of me moving boxes into Yvonne's apartment went viral. My best friend grinned at the luggage pile in her foyer. Sugar mama. Finally ditching romance for the grind? Men are useless. I deadpanned. Wait, weren't you all sweetheart the San Sean that last week? Spill. Under her laser-focused stare. I muttered. I smeared jam on his bedsheets. That's it? That's it. Divorced. What now? Single life. 3 days later. My phone rang. Sandy dear. Come to the family banquet tomorrow. Came Sam's oily voice. We can't have our girls struggling alone after this unfortunate split. Let's find you better prospects. Efficient as always. Uncle, I replied, misting my lilies. Wouldn't miss it. Yvonne frowned when I hung up. You cut ties with your parents years ago. Why humor them? Blood's thicker than water. I said darkly. They'll keep coming unless I end this myself. That evening, I pushed through the Miller Mansion's doors in a black mermaid gown. Conversations stuttered as I entered the ballroom. Is that the Miller heiress? Practically a stranger here. Think your son could land her? Instant fortune. In your dreams. Weaving through champagne flutes. I rounded a corner and froze at a familiar voice. It's been a while. I turned toward the familiar voice. Sean stood amidst the crowd, champagne flute in hand, his smile as dazzling as ever. He'd always been the sun around which lesser stars orbited. Since his divorce, every socialite and heiress in the city had swarmed him like moths to flame. The chatter died when they noticed me. Mr. Wilson, perhaps you should. Unnecessary. Sean's icy gaze swept over me before dismissing me entirely. We have nothing left to discuss. I snatched a fresh glass from a passing tray and strode forward. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, half expecting us to brawl. His dark eyes tracked the movement of champagne against my glossy lips before traveling down my throat to linger on the curve of my waist. The charged silence stretched a beat too long. Before he could speak, I tossed my drink across his tailored suit. Consider this my greeting, Mr. Wilson. He caught my empty glass, fingertips brushing my knuckles. Charming as ever. I stormed onto the terrace, desperate for air, only to freeze. Ryan leaned against the railing, the ruined half of his face swallowed by shadows. Long time no see. Sandy. My fingers curled behind my back. Where have you been? Miss me? His laugh held an edge I didn't recognize. When I shoved his shoulder playfully like old times, he caught my wrist. Surgical scars peeked above his collar. The terrace doors creaked. Sean watched us from the threshold, silhouette cutting through the golden light. Ryan stepped closer, his reconstructed features emerging from darkness. Do I look like myself again? Exactly the same. My retreat hit cold glass. Uncle Sam barged in with a gaggle of investors. Meet my niece Sandy and our new lead actor Ryan. Childhood sweethearts, we're hoping to make it official. Ryan's arm locked around me. I'll take good care of her. His grip only loosened when guests swarmed us. Later, cornered near the ice sculpture, I hissed. Since when do you work with my uncle? Marrying into the Miller family requires certain alliances. His thumb traced my jaw. Though your divorce simplified things. The man before me bore Ryan's face but none of his warmth. Who are you? His smile chilled me more than the February wind. The version who gets what he wants. Sandra Davis. I've always been this way. He forced a smile that looked menacing in the dim light. Originally, I shouldn't have spared you either. But I love you. As long as you come back, we can pretend nothing happened. You wouldn't want to die with Sean again like in our past life. Would you? I shuddered, overwhelmed by terror. Did he know everything? Ryan clearly noticed my dilated pupils and ragged breathing from fear. Leaning over me, he pressed the door handle behind me. The door clicked open, letting in cheerful violin melodies from the banquet hall. Golden light flooded the space. Go back, Ryan mouthed with a smile. Enjoy the party. We'll meet again soon. Only when merging into the crowd did I realize my clothes were drenched in cold sweat. The dazzling chandeliers made me dizzy. Following muscle memory, I climbed the grand staircase to the second floor. The room at the end of the corridor used to be mine. I pushed the door open, only to be yanked into the shadows by a familiar cedarwood scent. Sean's liquor-tinged whisper burned against my ear. Where did he touch you? My knees buckled as I collapsed into his arms, trembling uncontrollably. My shoulder. Instantly. Scorching lips claimed the spot. His kisses methodically erased Ryan's traces. replacing them with his own possessive marks before finally devouring my mouth. The lingering panic gradually subsided under his relentless reassurance. We stood entwined in darkness, exchanging breathless kisses until my cheeks burned. "Were you jealous?" I finally whispered. "Jealous enough to drown in it," Sean growled, nuzzling my collarbone. "No one touches you. No one." "Wait!" I shoved him away. "We have to go downstairs later." How would I explain bite marks? His stormy expression remained unconvinced until I added, "People would say I jumped from your bed to Ryan's the moment our divorce finalized." "Want that gossip?" "No." "Then behave." Resting my head against his chest, I listened to his pounding heartbeat. "Ryan's allied with Sam. They suspect our plans. Can you still handle this?" "Sandy." His arms tightened. "If the Miller family collapses because of this." I intertwined our fingers, noticing the wedding band he'd secretly kept. "My parents dumped me with Sam after their loveless marriage. He'd have sold me to some senile tycoon if not for you. Let that wretched man reap what he sowed." The following months found me back at my graphic design job. Since turning 18, I'd funded my own education through freelance work, a fact Sam hated. He kept summoning me for obligatory dates with Ryan at crowded downtown spots. Yvonne scowled at the TV during our lunch break, where Sean's latest merger deal dominated financial news. Why obey that old snake Sam at all? I didn't explain. Ryan monitored my every move. Any resistance would give him ammunition against Sean. We needed to play along until the final strike. Ugh. Not this again. Yvonne threw a fry at the screen as Sean's face reappeared. Corporate vampires. The diner's neon lights flickered across my lukewarm coffee. Somewhere across town, the trap was being set. "You hypocrite. Sandra. You have to let me meet your second husband before you marry him." Yvonne trembled like she had Parkinson's, pointing the remote control at Sean's handsome face. Her voice cracking. "Men like him are nothing but trouble. If I let you walk down that aisle, I'll eat my hat while doing a handstand." I emerged from my pile of design sketches, grimacing. "You should maybe leave some room for negotiation." "Fine. If it comes to that, we'll share the meal." Because of Yvonne's fierce opposition, I had to sneak around just to see Sean. Deep winter. Fresh snow blanketed the ground as I trudged downstairs in my bulky sweater, garbage bag in hand. Sean waited by his car despite the freezing cold, wearing the cashmere coat and scarf I'd gifted him. "Come here." He beckoned. I bounded over and threw myself into his arms, finger pressed to my lips. "Keep your voice down. Let's get in the car." "What's wrong?" "My best friend's convinced you're the worst playboy in existence," I hissed, dragging him into the vehicle like a thief. The interior lights faded, leaving only street lamp glow reflecting on snowdrifts. After much wriggling in my puffy coat, I produced knitted gloves from my pocket. "For you." Sean chuckled, accepting them with care. "Mrs. Wilson, I already have several pairs." "You don't like them?" I made to snatch them back, but he swiftly tucked them away. "Thank you. I love them." We never discussed anything profound, yet our conversations never dried up. I nuzzled his shoulder lazily. "Yvonne says if I dare marry someone like you again, well, let's just say it involves graphic bodily functions." He laughed, intertwining our fingers. "Maybe you should pick someone else." "Sean." I shoved him half-heartedly. "Don't even joke about that." His large hands enveloped both of mine as he looked down. "I want to stay with you." I mumbled, earlier cheer evaporating. Lately I'd been haunted by nightmares where Sean told me to move on without him, waking with tear-swollen eyes. "Sandy. If someday he hesitated. If we had to part ways." My tear splashed onto his hand, silencing him. "Just a hypothetical." He sighed, cradling me closer. Hypotheticals scare me too. My voice muffled against his chest. I grew up starved for affection. Whoever showed me kindness, I clung to, first Ryan, then you. But this is different. Real love isn't just happiness. It's wanting your joy more than mine. Measuring every word so I don't hurt you. You've become my whole heart. Losing you would tear me apart. Sean pressed a kiss to my hair. Sweetheart. You're truly loving me now. Then promise we'll never separate? You said you'd never refuse my requests. He soothed, rubbing my back. Promise. Next morning, I emerged puffy-eyed to find Yvonne gnawing a breakfast sandwich. Cried last night? Pass me an ice pop. She retrieved an expired popsicle from the freezer, jabbing it at my swollen eyelids. Saw you climbing into a luxury car yesterday. I pressed the ice pack to my face. Staying silent. Yvonne rolled her eyes. Back to your ex. Huh? Let that ex-husband humiliate you again? Crying. You've been crying over some guy in bed every damn day. Pathetic. It's not like that, he's actually. Stop. She dug her pinky in her ear. Say one more nice thing about him and I'll throw you out. I gave up arguing and took a sip of soy milk from the bowl. Cheeks puffed out as I stared blankly at my best friend. Swallow it. Did your brain run off with some guy? Forgot how to eat? I spat the entire mouthful back out. Before she could yell, I'd already bolted to the bathroom retching. Yvonne stormed in with a glass of water. Her face splattered with soy milk. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you? I'm calling an ambulance. I grabbed her wrist. Don't move. You look like death warmed over. Clutching her sleeve, I whispered, I'm pregnant. What nonsense, she froze mid-rant. Holy shit. 20 minutes later, she shoved me into a taxi. Ryan called. Sandy. Where are you? That's when I remembered our date. Sorry. Something urgent came up. Send me the address. Yvonne, knowing I disliked him, snatched my phone and powered it off. Biggest crisis of your life and you're still protecting that sperm donor? Bravo. Sandy. Fucking bravo. Better this way. I leaned back. Keep it secret. Don't tell your family. The Millers can't know. She sulked silently until the taxi's radio news report made us both stiffen. The Miller family faces multiple scandals this morning, including historical workplace safety violations. The Wilson Group, their former partner, is also implicated. Yvonne squeezed my hand. Worry etched across her face. I shook my head. I'm fine. Sean had moved faster than I expected. The avalanche of Miller family scandals kept coming, each revelation another straw on the camel's back. 10 years earlier than my past life. With Sean's empire at its peak and Uncle Sam's power not yet fully consolidated. Maybe history wouldn't repeat. Halfway to the clinic, drowsiness hit me like a truck. Wake me when we. Darkness swallowed me whole. Sandy. Open your damn eyes right now. Metallic screeching jolted me awake. My limbs felt like lead, blinking against the dust. I found myself staring at concrete pipes and Yvonne tied to one. Industrial oil stung my nostrils as I staggered up. Yvonne kicked uselessly at her ropes. Thank God! Untie me before I. The creak of rusty hinges cut her off. Cold wind carried a man's chuckle from the shadows. The moment I realized we were in an unfamiliar location and bound, I hurried over and crouched down to examine the coarse ropes restraining her. Familiar memories flooded back as I jerked my head up, scanning our surroundings. Cold sweat drenched my back. This wasn't just any abandoned factory. This was the exact same death trap from my previous life where I'd met my violent end. The knots proved impossible to untie, leaving friction as our only option. The metallic screech of grinding against steel beams echoed through the derelict building. Yvonne cursed under her breath. Kidnap me? Those bastards just signed their death warrants. Hours of sawing yielded minimal progress. She slumped against concrete rubble. Sandy. Stop. They tied me. Not you. This is about my family. Go get help while you can. I forced a bitter laugh. Actually, I think you're here because of me this time. What's that supposed? Her question died as Ryan's voice cut through the gloom. Your friend's got quite the mouth. When Yvonne twisted to look, I immediately shielded her eyes, meeting Ryan's cold stare. She's uninvolved. Let her leave. Yvonne exploded before I could finish. Listen here. You psycho. I'm Yvonne of the Walker family. My dad's in Congress and my brother's SWAT. You touch one hair on. Ryan's expression darkened dangerously. I interjected. You heard her. Drag the Walkers into this. And none of us survived this night. My hands shook remembering how her political connections had triggered last lifetime's catastrophic explosion. Ryan tossed me a box cutter. Free her. One wrong move, he trailed off meaningfully, thumbing his holster. I sawed frantically until the ropes fell away. Go home. Don't look back. Yvonne eyed the exit warily. This feels like a trap. Should I call the cops? Call them. I whispered. But I suspect we're dealing with men who've stopped fearing consequences. Memories of fire engulfing this very building made me shove her toward daylight. Just run. She gripped my shoulder. Sandy. Hold on. I'll bring back. The rest vanished with her fleeing footsteps. Alone with Ryan now. I faced him squarely. What do you want? Why were you at the hospital? He countered. Migraine medication. His humorless laugh echoed. Still lying. Sandy? He dragged me to a shattered window, forcing my gaze downward. Recognize our guest? My breath caught. Sean stood in the courtyard, Sam's pistol pressed to his temple. Ryan murmured, by the time police arrive, they'll find your ex-husband's corpse and your uncle's fingerprints all over it. I clenched my freezing hands, schooling my features blank. We're divorced. His fate means nothing to me. Is that so? Ryan nodded toward Sam. Uncle Sam? His left leg. The gunshot cracked like thunder. Sean collapsed, crimson spreading across his thigh as he stared up at our window, face ashen. Ryan! I'm here. Let her go. Ryan ignored him, studying my reaction, enjoying the show. Sandy? When Sam raised his weapon again, I grabbed Ryan's arm desperately. Stop. Please. Ryan's smile vanished abruptly, his knuckles whitening from clenched fists. Sean's eyes darkened, sweat beading on his forehead as he warned. Don't scare her. Ryan's gaze turned glacial, challenging Sean before abruptly tilting Sandy's chin and crushing his chapped lips against hers. The violent kiss made her retch, thrashing desperately against him. Want him dead? He hissed. She froze instantly. He pressed closer, their lips scraping until nausea overwhelmed her. Shoving him away, she collapsed to her knees, vomiting violently. Execute, Ryan commanded coldly. A gunshot cracked downstairs. Her mind blanked as she scrambled to the window. Sean! The expected bloodbath scene didn't materialize. Sam lay face down with a bullet wound, while Sean's left hand dripped crimson. SWAT teams swarmed the compound below. Ryan yanked her behind a concrete pillar as megaphone warnings echoed outside. Didn't expect them this fast. Did you? He gripped her collar tighter, shouting toward the windows. I've got explosives. Send Sean in alone or we die together. Gasping for air, she pleaded. Ryan, be reasonable. I am being perfectly reasonable. Spittle flew from his lips. You chose to die with him last time. Why won't you do the same for me? His grip tightened as she clawed at his hands. You stole her. Give me back the real Sandra. Black spots danced in her vision as oxygen deprivation set in. Ryan. Sean's baritone cut through the chaos from mere feet away. I'm here. Let her go. The chokehold released. She doubled over coughing. Tear-blurred eyes locking onto Sean's bloodstained pants and bandaged hand more battered than in her previous life's memories. His gaze never wavered from her, even as Ryan dragged her backward and pressed a blade to her throat. New rules. Ryan sneered, nodding toward a leather jacket. Put it on. Recognition hit her like a freight train. No. Don't. She screamed, thrashing wildly. Ryan laughed maniacally. Let's see how much you love him now. Sandy. Last time he held you dying. But today, the blade drew blood. Either he dies. Or you do. Sean's eyes tracked the crimson bead sliding down her neck. Move the blade away. I'll wear it. Sandy. Run. Her voice shredded from screaming. He shrugged into the jacket without hesitation. The bomb timer beeped to life. Ryan shoved her forward. Choose. She stumbled toward Sean, who immediately retreated. Stay back. Sandy. He ordered calmly. It's rigged. Rooted between them. She sobbed helplessly. Ryan's deranged grin widened as Sean's timer ticked louder than her pounding heartbeat. I'm not afraid to die. But choosing Sean in front of him right now would only escalate Ryan's fury. It might even trigger the bomb prematurely. Sandra. Just admit it, you only love yourself. You're exactly like your Uncle Sam, selfish and heartless. Ryan sneered, tossing out cruel remarks from the sidelines. Sean had retreated to the window. He glanced at me before saying coldly, Ryan, I'm sorry about what happened to your father. You don't get to mention my father. Ryan's earlier mocking demeanor vanished as he lunged forward. Do you privileged brats even know what sincerity means? But your father was violating safety protocols that day, no hard hat. We compensated your family fairly. Shut up. Sean's lips curled into a disdainful smirk. You're just another failure clinging to excuses. My entire body trembled. The world had gone mad. Every word from Sean struck Ryan's deepest wounds. Was he trying to get himself killed? Ryan suddenly hurled a lighter to the floor. Flames erupted instantly. The sharp scent of gasoline I'd noticed earlier now made horrific sense. You people ruined my life. Ryan's bloodshot eyes locked onto me as he advanced. His face, still healing from reconstructive surgery, looked monstrous in the firelight. Sandy, why didn't you choose me? If you just said you couldn't stand scars, I wouldn't have. Ice flooded my veins. He'd done this to himself. You're insane. Of course. How else could I exploit your guilt to track Sean's movements? The last shreds of Ryan's gentle facade crumbled, revealing years of calculated obsession. His laughter rasped like broken machinery. If you'd picked me, Yvonne, things would have been different. This ending? You brought it on yourself. He produced a detonator. I didn't think, just threw myself at Sean, clinging desperately. Sandy! Sean roared. Then, crash. The window exploded. Deafening silence swallowed everything. A high-pitched whine needled my skull. Sean's pale lips moved soundlessly as my body went numb. If we died here together. Was I crying? Why? Sound rushed back like a bomb detonating in my ears. Suspect down. Second floor of abandoned factory. Explosives disarmed. Hostages secure. Evacuate immediately. Fire spreading. They dragged me out. Over my shoulder. I saw Ryan's lifeless form sprawled on the ground. A gloved hand covered my eyes. Cold air replaced smoke. Sirens wailed. Police lights stained the sunset blood red. My legs gave out, and I collapsed into the snow, trembling uncontrollably. Yvonne's stream of curses suddenly sounded like a heavenly chorus. Goddamn 21st century with all our laws and police raids. And these assholes are still playing with explosives? Fucking outlaws. Every last one of you. Lock 'em up for life. Give em the death penalty. Blow your damn head off so even your mama wouldn't recognize the corpse. Sean. Get them all. Don't let a single one escape. Enough. Go check on Sandy. We'll handle the rest. Yvonne spotted me kneeling in the snowbank and shouted. Sandy. Get up. You're pregnant. For Christ's sake. Stop rolling around like a goddamn toddler. Ryan, who'd been helping the bomb squad, froze. His head snapped toward me. Before Yvonne could reach us, he ripped off his leather jacket and scooped me up mid-conversation with my friend, striding wordlessly toward the SUV. Hey! What the hell? The door slammed shut on Yvonne's protests. He deposited me in the back seat, sliding in beside me with stormy eyes. I shrank into the corner. Please, you're scaring me. Scared? You weren't scared when you threw yourself at a live bomb. His voice cracked like a whip. Did you think this was some fucking trust fall exercise? Tears spilled over. Sean had never spoken to me like this. That explosive was strapped to my chest. Veins bulged at his temples. What if Ryan had pressed that detonator? What then? When he opened his mouth again, I flopped dramatically against his chest. Oh no, I think I'm having a panic attack. Sean's jaw clenched audibly. For the first time, I noticed his hands shaking as he crushed me against him. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have yelled. His fingers tangled in my hair. Voice rough. I was going to jump through the window. Even if the sniper failed, even if it blew, you'd have been safe. Why did you tackle me? Sandy? Since when are you that strong? Dunno. TV always says hit the deck during bomb threats. Wasn't about to hug Ryan instead. He choked back whatever retort he'd planned. Just glad we're both breathing. Are your bandages holding? Let me check. Sandy, he groaned when my hands went for his belt. It's on my thigh. What's the big deal? We're married. I yanked at his jeans as Yvonne's muffled voice penetrated the glass. Yes. Officer. I'm reporting a possible domestic violence situation. Her husband just kidnapped her in broad daylight. The door flew open. Sunlight illuminated me straddling Sean's lap. Fingers hooked in his half-unbuckled pants. Yvonne stared at us for 3 blistering seconds before slamming the door. Never mind. Animal cruelty case instead. You guys handled dog abuse, right? At our vow renewal ceremony, Yvonne occupied the head table. She'd barely touched her steak when Sean approached with champagne flutes. Sandy's told me so much about you. She mentioned you'd promised something interesting if we ever remarried. Under his piercing gaze, she recalled her drunken vow, if she walks down the aisle to that man again, I'll eat shit standing on my head. We stared at each other. I may have mentioned that once. I winced. Yvonne raised her glass. To the past being past. Let's drink to, eternal happiness. Thank you. Sean's smile could have chilled whiskey. Later. I tugged his sleeve as we circulated. Why bring that up? It was ancient history. Curiosity. He smirked. Really? Really? His arm tightened around my waist. But I'll settle for watching her chew through every course tonight. I hesitated for a long moment before suddenly grinning. Come closer. I'll tell you a secret. I pulled him down for some whispered confidences. Sean's elegant brows lifted slightly. Amusement dancing in his eyes. Giggling until my stomach hurt. I gasped. What if she actually does it? And drags me along? Sean. How would you ever live that down? My laughter echoed through the grand hall. Sean simply watched me with eyes soft enough to drown in. After the wedding reception, guests wandered through the beachside resort. At dusk, having changed out of my wedding gown into casual clothes and a wide-brimmed sun hat, I let Sean lead me across the sand. You always promised beach walks with me before. The other you. I mean. I paused. Oh. Your 38-year-old self. Sean frowned. That sounds ancient. Not at all. I protested, playfully nudging him. Still devastatingly handsome at 38. More reserved though. Easier to fluster. The image of mature Sean with his added gravitas made my pulse quicken. He grew quiet. His responses increasingly distracted as evening fell. Upon entering our suite, strong arms suddenly pinned me against a warm chest. The click of a lock echoed. Did that old man understand you like I do? Sean's usually cool voice burned with intensity against my neck. Realization dawned. You're jealous of yourself? I choked back laughter. His fingers tilted my chin toward the mirror. Eyes darkening. Easy to fluster. Was he? The mocking chuckle vibrated against my skin. Sounds like he lacked stamina. Don't say that. Heat flooded my cheeks. Defending him? His grip tightened possessively. No. I groaned. 10 years from now when you remember this, will you feel compelled to prove your virility all over again? Absolutely. He deadpanned. Why must I suffer for your rivalry with future you? Ignoring my protest, Sean traced my reflection in the glass. Should let that old bastard see this. Stop talking. I hid my burning face in his shirt. His kiss swallowed my embarrassment. You're mine. Sandy. He growled. That night became an endless cycle of praising his current prowess while reassuring him about his future self's capabilities. Moonlight later silhouetted Sean's sleeping profile, gently tracing his jawline. Warmth bloomed in my chest. I'd often held hands with his older self, lamenting our lost decade. 10 years we'd existed as strangers steeped in pain. There must have been moments I'd wavered. Late nights when he'd quietly tucked blankets around me. I'd nearly embraced him to say let's try again. But Ryan's accident had festered like shrapnel in my heart. Each flicker of attraction only drove the shard deeper, reinforcing that Sean had hurt my family. Perhaps that's why, when truth finally unbound us, love erupted with volcanic force, brief but glorious. I'd loved him far longer than I'd dared admit. Sandy? Sleep-roughened concern laced his voice as his arms tightened around me. Moonlit eyes blinked awake. Bad dream? The real nightmare had been those wasted years. I kissed his palm, just counting my luck. His heartbeat steadied mine as dawn tinted the horizon peach. Sean's voice came through, hoarse and groggy from sleep. I cupped his face, leaning in to brush a feather-light kiss against his lips. I love you. Beneath my palm pressed to his chest, Sean's heart began racing wildly again. This man, still so easily flustered, I love you too. He captured my retreating lips, taking control as he deepened the kiss with possessive intensity.